You know what the hardest thing for most people in today's world is? Silence, stillness. The ability to stop chasing, stop forcing, stop grinding their mind into exhaustion, and just be. But let me tell you something, when you can master silence, when you can master the art of waiting, of trusting, of listening instead of always speaking, you unlock a power that very few people on this planet ever touch. See, life is not always about pushing harder, screaming louder, or forcing your way through every door. There are moments where the most powerful move you can make is no move at all. The seed doesn't force itself to grow. It grows in silence. The stars don't shout to be seen. They shine in silence. The most powerful rivers, the strongest winds, the deepest forces in nature do their work quietly without asking for permission. And yet most people spend their lives in noise. The noise of their own mind, the noise of their doubts, the noise of everyone else's opinions telling them who to be, what to want, how to live. And in that noise, they lose themselves. But when you stay silent, when you stop reacting to everything, stop chasing every distraction, stop filling every gap with words, you give space for something incredible to happen. You give space for clarity, for strength, for wisdom, for opportunities to come naturally without you having to fight for them. Silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Silence is not absence, it's presence. When you can be silent in the chaos, you rise above it. When you can be silent in the face of criticism, you disarm it. When you can be silent with yourself, you hear the truth that noise tries to drown out. And here's the thing, when you stop fighting life and start trusting it, the right things begin to flow to you. The people, the opportunities, the breakthroughs, they show up not because you screamed for them, not because you demanded them, but because you aligned yourself with them. So the next time your instinct is to rush, to force, to react, pause, be silent. Let the power of patience, of stillness, of trust do its work. Because in silence, you don't lose control, you gain it. In silence, you don't fall behind, you move ahead naturally. Stay silent and everything will come to you in its time. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that praises action, noise, and constant movement, the idea of silence can feel unnatural, even uncomfortable. People think that to succeed, you have to always be speaking, always be pushing, always making yourself visible, always proving yourself. But what they fail to see is that the true power, the kind that shapes destinies and transforms lives, often comes from stillness. Silence is strength. The ability to remain silent, to hold back your impulses, to pause instead of reacting immediately, is a skill that separates ordinary people from those who create extraordinary lives. It is a strength that is cultivated, refined, and mastered over time, and yet it is available to anyone who chooses to embrace it. When you understand silence, you begin to understand yourself. You start to notice the gaps between your thoughts, the quiet spaces where insight and clarity are waiting to emerge. Most people rush through life without ever pausing to consider what they are thinking, what they are feeling, and what they truly want. They fill every moment with noise from the outside world, noise from their own minds, noise from fears, doubts, and insecurities. And in that noise, they lose the power to act deliberately, to make conscious choices, and to harness the energy that flows naturally when the mind is quiet. Silence allows you to connect to that energy. It allows you to access a deeper level of awareness, a place where decisions are not driven by impulse or fear, but by clarity and purpose. When you cultivate silence, you cultivate patience. You learn to wait for the right moment, to recognize opportunities that others miss, and to respond with precision rather than reaction. This kind of strength is not flashy, it is not loud, but it is unshakable. It is the strength that allows a person to face challenges without panic, to navigate uncertainty without anxiety, and to remain grounded when the world around them is chaotic. Silence also strengthens your presence. There is a certain magnetic quality that emerges when a person is comfortable with silence. People are drawn to those who do not feel the need to constantly fill the air with words. There is respect in the pause. There is power in the restraint, and there is wisdom in listening. Those who speak without being heard have little influence, but those who speak with intention, after observing and understanding, command attention and inspire action. It is in silence that you develop emotional strength as well. By resisting the urge to react immediately to provocation, criticism, or chaos, you create space between stimulus and response. This space is where growth occurs. It is where you decide whether an insult diminishes you or whether you rise above it. It is where you choose whether fear will control your decisions or whether courage will guide you. When you stay silent in moments of tension, You conserve energy, maintain focus, and avoid unnecessary conflicts. This is not passivity, it is mastery over your own mind and emotions. Silence also sharpens your intuition. The world is filled with signals, patterns, and opportunities, but most people miss them because they are too busy talking, thinking, or reacting. When you practice silence, you train yourself to notice subtle cues, to pick up on unspoken dynamics, and to sense what others may overlook. This heightened awareness becomes a powerful tool in every area of life, from business negotiations to personal relationships, because it allows you to act from insight rather than assumption. Another aspect of silence's strength is the ability to reflect. Reflection is essential for learning, growth, and transformation, yet it requires moments of quiet. Without silence, experiences pass by unnoticed. Lessons go unlearned and wisdom remains untapped. By embracing silence, you create the space to analyze your choices, to understand your motivations, and to plan your next moves with intention. Silence also fosters resilience. Life will always test you, challenge you, and push you to your limits. When you have mastered the ability to remain silent, you are less likely to be shaken by external pressures. You understand that reactions can be managed, that emotions can be guided, and that strength is not demonstrated through noise or aggression, but through calmness, composure, and steady determination. In silence, you find freedom. Freedom from the constant need for approval, freedom from the compulsion to argue every point, freedom from the anxiety of always having to explain yourself. Freedom from noise is the kind that empowers you to live on your terms, to make decisions based on your values rather than others' expectations, and to create a life that reflects your highest potential. Furthermore, silence is a source of creativity. The mind needs quiet to generate new ideas, to innovate, and to solve complex problems. When the world is loud, creativity is drowned out. But when you embrace silence, inspiration begins to flow naturally, and solutions that seemed impossible in the noise become clear and actionable. In relationships, silence is a tool of connection. Listening more than speaking allows you to truly understand others, to empathize with their experiences, and to respond in ways that build trust and respect. People sense when someone is present, when someone is fully engaged, and silence often communicates more than words ever could. The person who listens, observes, and responds thoughtfully becomes a leader in every sense, someone others naturally gravitate toward, respect, and follow. Silence also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not the center of the universe, that others have perspectives worth hearing, and that life is larger than your individual desires or fears. In humility, there is strength, and in strength, there is influence, the ability to remain silent and observe the world around you, to weigh your actions carefully, and to act with intention creates a presence that commands respect without demanding it. In the modern world, where distraction is constant and attention is scarce, silence becomes a rare and valuable skill. It is the quiet power that allows you to focus on what truly matters, to prioritize your energy, and to invest your efforts in ways that yield exponential results. Silence is strength because it is the antidote to impulsivity, the pathway to clarity, the bridge to resilience, and the foundation of influence. Those who understand and embrace it move through life with a sense of purpose, confidence, and control that others spend a lifetime chasing without ever achieving. When you practice silence consistently, it begins to permeate every aspect of your life. You notice how much energy is wasted in unnecessary arguments, how many opportunities are missed by speaking too soon, and how many conflicts dissolve simply because you chose not to engage in the noise. Silence allows you to conserve energy, amplify focus, and harness the natural flow of life rather than resist it. It gives you access to your inner strength, your intuition, and your ability to act with precision and impact. It transforms challenges into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and chaos into clarity. In silence, you are not powerless, you are powerful beyond measure. You are in control of your mind, your emotions, and your actions. You are no longer a slave to reaction or circumstance. You are deliberate, intentional, and unstoppable. Most people live their lives in constant pursuit. They chase opportunities, chase recognition, chase money, chase approval, chase happiness, chase the next big thing. They are always running, always reaching, always stretching themselves thin, believing that success is something you grab, something you force, something you hunt down. But chasing is exhausting. It creates tension, frustration, and a sense of never being enough. It makes people reactive instead of proactive, scattered instead of focused, and tired instead of energized. The truth is that the more you chase, the more life seems to slip through your fingers. And yet there is a principle, a simple yet profound truth that most people overlook. Stop chasing, start receiving. Life has a natural flow, a rhythm, a way of bringing what is meant for you to you when you are ready to receive it. The moment you release the desperate need to push, the moment you stop forcing things to happen, the moment you step into a space of openness and trust, everything begins to align. When you are always chasing, you are in a state of scarcity. You are signaling to the universe, to the world, to yourself that you are not enough, that you must fight for every inch, and that fulfillment is always somewhere ahead, never here. But when you shift your focus from chasing to receiving, you move from scarcity to abundance. You begin to recognize that the universe, life, and opportunities are already abundant. You begin to understand that the right opportunities, people, and experiences are drawn to you naturally, effortlessly, when you are in alignment, when you are centered, when you are open. Receiving requires stillness. It requires patience. It requires trust. It requires the courage to step back from constant action and allow life to come to you. Receiving does not mean passivity. It does not mean waiting for things to magically appear without effort. It means aligning your energy, preparing yourself, and being ready to act when the right moment presents itself. It means focusing on growth, self-improvement, and contribution rather than desperation and grasping. When you start receiving, you begin to notice the signals, the opportunities, and the people that you never saw when you were chasing. You notice doors opening that were invisible before. You notice connections forming effortlessly. You notice solutions appearing where before there seemed to be only problems. This happens because chasing clouds your vision. It creates stress, anxiety, and tension. Your energy is scattered, your mind is busy, and your presence is distracted. When you stop chasing, your mind becomes calm, your focus sharpens, and your energy becomes magnetic. You are no longer pushing against the world starts moving with you. There is a natural law at work here. The more you try to force something, the more resistance you create. The more you push, the more you struggle. The more you chase, the more elusive success becomes. But when you stop chasing and start receiving, you align with flow. You move in harmony with life rather than in conflict with it. You begin to act from a place of strength rather than weakness, from abundance rather than scarcity. Receiving requires clarity. You must know what you truly want, what aligns with your values, and what will serve your highest purpose. Without clarity, you cannot receive effectively because you will accept anything that comes your way, whether it serves you or not. Clarity allows you to say yes to what is right and no to what is not. It allows you to recognize opportunity and recognize traps. It allows you to step into life fully prepared to act when the time is right. Another key to receiving is gratitude. Gratitude opens the door for more to flow into your life. When you appreciate what you have, even the smallest blessings, you signal to the universe, to your subconscious mind, that you are aware of abundance. This awareness multiplies what you receive, creating a cycle of positivity, attraction, and fulfillment. People who chase are often never satisfied because their focus is on lack. People who receive with gratitude experience fulfillment because their focus is on what is possible, on what is present, and on the alignment of life with their purpose. Receiving also requires trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust in the timing of life. Many people fail to receive because they cannot wait. They are impatient, anxious, and skeptical. They want instant results, instant gratification, and instant proof that their efforts are working. But life does not always move at the speed we demand. Life has its own rhythm, and those who trust the rhythm and remain patient are the ones who consistently receive extraordinary outcomes. The shift from chasing to receiving also changes how you interact with others. Chasing creates desperation, competition, and tension. Receiving creates confidence, generosity, and magnetism. People are naturally drawn to those who are calm, centered, and present. They are repelled by those who are anxious, needy, and frantic. When you receive, you create space for collaboration, influence, and authentic relationships to flourish. Receiving also strengthens your intuition. When you are not chasing, you have time and clarity to listen to your inner voice, to recognize patterns, and to sense opportunities before they become obvious to everyone else. Intuition becomes a guiding force, directing your actions, decisions, and interactions with precision and impact. Furthermore, receiving encourages self-mastery. To receive effectively, you must master your emotions, your thoughts, and your energy. You must let go of fear, doubt, and impatience. You must cultivate resilience, focus, and patience. This mastery amplifies your ability to attract what is aligned with your highest vision and purpose. Receiving is not limited to material gains. It applies to knowledge, wisdom, love, health, creativity, and fulfillment. When you stop chasing and start receiving, you open the door for transformation in every area of life. You create the conditions for growth, success, and happiness to flow naturally. The paradox is clear: the less you chase, the more comes to you. The less you force, the more opportunities appear. The less you struggle, the easier life becomes. Those who have mastered the art of receiving understand this principle deeply. They act with intention, prepare for success, and wait patiently for the right moment to step forward. They do not panic when things are delayed. They do not demand when things are withheld. They do not grasp when abundance is already flowing. Instead, they align themselves with life's natural rhythm and allow the energy of the universe to work in their favor. Receiving requires letting go of control. It requires surrendering the need to micromanage every outcome and trusting that life, when approached with focus, clarity, and intention, will provide what is needed at the perfect time. This does not mean inaction. It means intelligent action guided by awareness, strategy, and timing. People who chase often make mistakes, waste resources, and burn themselves out. People who receive act with precision, conserve energy, and multiply their results. The power of receiving lies in its subtlety. It is not flashy. It does not demand attention. But it is undeniable, unstoppable, and transformative. When you stop chasing, your mind becomes free. Your energy becomes magnetic. Your actions become intentional. Your life becomes aligned with the flow of abundance. Opportunities appear when you least expect them. Solutions emerge naturally, and people are drawn to your presence because you exude calm, confidence, and clarity. To stop chasing and start receiving is to step into a life of flow. It is to release struggle and embrace alignment. It is to trust that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right outcomes are already moving toward you, and that all you must do is be ready. Be present and act with clarity. Courage and precision. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It shapes your reality, dictates your actions, and ultimately determines the life you create. Most people, however, live as though their minds are out of their control, letting thoughts, emotions, and external circumstances drive their every decision. They react impulsively, worry unnecessarily, and allow fear, doubt, and uncertainty to dominate their experience. But mastering the mind is not about suppressing thoughts or emotions. It's about understanding them, directing them, and using them as instruments to create a life of purpose, power, and impact. When you learn to master your mind, you master the moment. Every situation, every challenge, every opportunity becomes something you can navigate with clarity, confidence, and effectiveness. It begins with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, awareness of your emotions, awareness of the patterns that govern your behaviors. Most people are unconscious participants in their own lives, swept along by habit, circumstance, and external influence. Awareness allows you to step back, observe, and choose your response rather than being controlled by it. Mastering the mind requires discipline. It requires training yourself to focus on what serves you, to redirect attention from what hinders you, and to cultivate habits that enhance your mental, emotional, and physical state. This discipline is not restrictive, it is liberating. When your mind is disciplined, you can direct energy toward your goals instead of wasting it on worry, fear, or distraction. The mind is also a reflection of your beliefs. Your beliefs determine how you interpret reality, how you respond to challenges, and what you expect from life. Limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and negative conditioning keep people small, trapped in cycles of frustration and mediocrity. Mastering the mind involves identifying these limiting beliefs, questioning them, and replacing them with empowering beliefs that expand your potential. This transformation is not instantaneous. It requires practice, patience, and persistent effort. But once achieved, the results are undeniable. Mastery of the mind creates freedom from internal chaos, clarity in decision-making, and confidence in taking bold, deliberate action. Emotions are inseparable from the mind, and mastering the mind involves mastering your emotional state. Emotions drive behavior, and uncontrolled emotions lead to reactive, impulsive, and often destructive actions. By understanding your emotional patterns, recognizing triggers, and choosing empowering emotional responses, you gain control over your behavior and influence over your circumstances. The power of the mind is amplified by focus. Focus is the ability to direct your attention intentionally, to prioritize what matters, and to ignore distractions that dilute your energy and effectiveness. Most people scatter their focus across too many tasks, responsibilities, and desires, leading to exhaustion, frustration, and inefficiency. When you master focus, you harness the full potential of your mind, channeling energy into actions that yield exponential results. Visualization is another critical tool in mastering the mind. By vividly imagining your desired outcomes, you program your subconscious to align thoughts, actions, and behaviors with your goals. The mind cannot distinguish between reality and imagination when engaged with emotion and detail, and visualization creates a powerful rehearsal for success, preparing you to act decisively when opportunities arise. Mastering the mind also requires reframing challenges. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and difficulties, and how you interpret these events determines whether you thrive or struggle. A masterful mind sees challenges as opportunities for growth, learning, and innovation. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, it focuses on solutions, possibilities, and actions that move you forward. Self-talk is another dimension of mental mastery. The conversations you have with yourself shape your confidence, resilience, and perspective. Negative self-talk erodes motivation, undermines belief, and limits action. Positive, empowering self-talk fuels determination, reinforces belief in your abilities, and strengthens the capacity to act decisively under pressure. Mastering the mind requires consistent practice. It is not a one-time achievement, but a daily commitment to awareness, focus, emotional regulation, and intentional action. Habits play a crucial role in this process, as repeated behaviors create neural pathways that make mastery increasingly automatic. When you cultivate empowering habits, such as reflection, meditation, gratitude, and deliberate focus, you reinforce your mental strength and expand your capacity to influence every moment of your life. Timing and presence are also outcomes of mastering the mind. When your mind is disciplined, clear, and focused, you are fully present in each moment. You can sense opportunities, read situations accurately, and respond with precision. The present moment becomes your ally rather than a source of anxiety or distraction. Mastery of the mind enhances decision-making. Decisions are no longer impulsive or reactive, but deliberate, grounded in clarity, values, and strategic thinking. You learn to weigh options objectively, anticipate consequences, and choose actions that maximize impact and align with your highest priorities. The mind also influences energy and health. A disciplined, positive, and focused mind drives physiological responses, reduces stress, and enhances resilience. Those who master their minds experience increased vitality, mental sharpness, and emotional stability, enabling them to perform at their peak consistently. Relationships are deeply affected by mental mastery. When your mind is clear and balanced, you communicate more effectively, empathize more deeply, and navigate conflict with composure and wisdom. Others are drawn to the calm, confident presence of someone who has mastery over themselves, creating influence and trust in both personal and professional spheres. Learning to master the mind also means embracing uncertainty with courage. Life is unpredictable, and those who are mentally mastered do not fear the unknown. They approach it with curiosity, strategy, and confidence. The mind becomes a tool for adaptation, innovation, and growth, transforming uncertainty into opportunity rather than anxiety. Mind mastery requires letting go of attachment to outcomes. When your focus is on control, stress, or fear, the mind becomes cluttered and ineffective. By focusing on actions, intentions, and processes rather than obsessing over results, you maintain clarity, reduce stress, and remain flexible to seize opportunities as they arise. Continuous learning is a hallmark of a mastered mind. Those who cultivate mental mastery are committed to growth, seeking knowledge, perspectives, and skills that expand their capacity to think, act, and lead effectively. The mind becomes a lifelong instrument of growth, innovation, and transformation, capable of shaping reality and creating extraordinary results. Ultimately, mastering the mind is about aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest vision and purpose. It is about taking control of your internal state so that external circumstances cannot dictate your success, happiness, or fulfillment. It is about stepping fully into your power and commanding your life from a position of awareness, presence, and deliberate choice. When you master your mind, you master the moment, and in mastering the moment, you create a life of clarity, confidence, influence, and extraordinary results. Patience is one of the most underrated and misunderstood strengths in life. In a world obsessed with speed, instant results, and immediate gratification, patience is often seen as weakness or passivity, but in reality, it is the secret weapon of those who achieve greatness, the foundation of resilience, and the gateway to extraordinary results. Patience is not about waiting passively. It is about cultivating a mindset of trust, discipline, and strategic timing. It is about understanding that life has rhythms, cycles, and seasons, and that forcing outcomes often creates resistance rather than progress. Those who master patience understand the difference between action and reaction, between persistence and desperation, and between pushing blindly and moving deliberately. True patience is an active state of power. It allows you to remain focused and composed even when things seem delayed or uncertain. It gives you the ability to observe, reflect, and respond intelligently rather than impulsively. Patience creates the space in which clarity emerges, decisions become precise, and opportunities reveal themselves naturally. Most people lack patience because they are living in a state of scarcity. They are anxious, fearful, and desperate for results. They believe that if they do not act immediately, they will miss their chance, fail, or fall behind. This fear-driven approach leads to mistakes, burnout, and frustration, and it blinds them to the natural flow of life that brings success to those who are prepared, persistent, and patient. Patience is strengthened by vision. When you have a clear understanding of your goals, your purpose, and your desired outcomes, patience becomes easier to sustain. You can see beyond the immediate frustrations, delays, or obstacles and trust that your efforts, combined with timing, will yield results. The greater your vision, the more confident you become in the process, and the less you feel the need to rush or force outcomes. Patience is also a measure of emotional mastery. It allows you to regulate your reactions, control impulses, and maintain calm in situations where others panic, argue, or give up. Emotional stability that comes from patience creates strength, resilience, and influence. People are naturally drawn to those who demonstrate patience because they radiate confidence, clarity, and control. Those who lack patience often act out of frustration, making hasty decisions, burning bridges, or wasting resources. Patience is strategic. It is not passive or weak. It allows you to observe, plan, and act when conditions are most favorable. It is the difference between gambling recklessly and investing wisely, between reacting impulsively and responding with intelligence. Those who understand the power of patience leverage it to their advantage, turning setbacks into lessons, delays into preparation, and waiting periods into opportunities for growth. The practice of patience cultivates resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. The ability to endure difficulty, uncertainty, or delay without losing focus or motivation strengthens character and fortitude. Resilient people face adversity with a sense of calm, knowing that persistence and patience will carry them through to success. Patience also enhances perspective. When you are patient, you are able to see the bigger picture, to understand the patterns and cycles of life, and to recognize opportunities that others miss in their rush. Patience creates wisdom, the ability to discern what is important, what is urgent, and what can wait. It allows you to prioritize effectively and act with maximum impact when the moment is right. Another aspect of patience is the cultivation of gratitude. When you practice patience, you learn to appreciate the journey, to acknowledge the growth that comes from effort, and to recognize the value of each experience, even those that seem slow or difficult. Gratitude amplifies patience, creating a cycle of calm, focus, and positivity that attracts opportunities, resources, and support. Patience also strengthens relationships. People gravitate toward those who are patient because they feel understood, supported, and safe. In personal and professional relationships, patience allows you to listen deeply, communicate effectively, and navigate conflicts with composure. It builds trust and respect, creating lasting connections that are vital for success and fulfillment. Patience is a form of self-mastery. It requires awareness, control, and discipline to manage desires for immediate gratification, to delay impulses, and to persist through uncertainty. Self-mastery gained through patience enhances confidence, focus, and the ability to act with purpose and precision. Those who cultivate patience also develop intuition. When you are not rushing or forcing outcomes, you become more attuned to subtle cues, patterns, your opportunities that others overlook. Your ability to sense timing, anticipate challenges, and recognize the right moment for action becomes a powerful asset in every area of life. Patience encourages continuous growth and learning. The waiting periods, delays, and challenges that life presents are opportunities to acquire skills, build knowledge, and develop strategies. Those who are impatient often miss these lessons, acting too quickly and repeating mistakes. Patience transforms waiting into preparation, creating conditions for extraordinary results. Patience is linked to confidence. When you are patient, you demonstrate faith in yourself, in your process, and in life itself. You are not desperate, anxious, or reactive. Instead, you exude calm assurance, and this confidence attracts support, resources, and opportunities. People are drawn to those who are steady and composed, trusting that they know the right course of action and the right time to act. Patience also fosters creativity. The space created by waiting and observing allows the mind to generate innovative solutions, connect ideas, and discover opportunities that are not visible in the rush. Creativity flourishes in patience because it allows thought, reflection, and insight to emerge naturally. Patience is a superpower because it allows you to harness the forces of time, energy, and circumstance rather than battling them. Those who act impulsively often waste energy, resources, and momentum, while those who act with patience use timing, strategy, and insight to maximize every effort. Patience allows you to see obstacles not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Mistakes become lessons, and delays become preparation for extraordinary outcomes. The ability to endure discomfort, uncertainty, or frustration without giving in to impulsive reactions creates strength that is unmatched. Patience amplifies impact. When you act at the right time with clarity and preparation, the results are multiplied. Hasty actions often lead to mediocre outcomes, while patient actions create exponential results. Timing, alignment, and readiness are the hallmarks of those who achieve extraordinary success. Cultivating patience requires mindfulness and self-awareness. You must recognize the impulses, anxieties, and fears that drive impatience and consciously choose to redirect your energy toward calm observation, preparation, and focused action. Awareness allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react reflexively. in every situation. Patience is a discipline that strengthens every area of life. It enhances mental clarity, emotional resilience, relationships, creativity, decision-making, and influence. It allows you to navigate uncertainty with confidence, to act with precision, and to align your actions with your highest purpose. Patience transforms waiting into preparation, struggle into opportunity, and uncertainty into advantage. It is the hidden strength behind every success story, the quiet force that allows extraordinary individuals to achieve results that others believe are impossible. Those who understand patience do not see delay as failure. They see it as a necessary phase, a time to grow, learn, and prepare. They embrace the timing of life, trusting that persistence, strategy, and alignment will bring success naturally. The power of patience is not visible in the moment, but it compounds over time. It allows you to endure, to grow, to refine, and to act decisively when conditions are optimal. Patience is the superpower that converts effort into extraordinary results, struggles into wisdom, and persistence into achievement. Listening is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop, yet it is one of the most neglected. Most people hear, but they do not truly listen. They are busy thinking about what to say next, defending their position, or reacting to what they perceive as challenges or threats. They respond impulsively, driven by emotion, ego, or habit, rather than understanding. The ability to listen more and react less is a cornerstone of influence, connection, and success. Listening is not passive. It is an active, intentional act that requires presence, focus, and openness. When you truly listen, you gather information that others miss, understand perspectives that are hidden, and create a sense of trust and respect that is rare in the modern world. Reacting less is equally critical. Most people react automatically to stimuli without pausing to consider the consequences of their words, actions, or decisions. They let emotions dictate behavior, leading to mistakes, misunderstandings, and unnecessary conflicts. By reducing reactive impulses, you create space for clarity, strategic thinking, and deliberate action. Listening more allows you to understand the world in a deeper way. You begin to notice patterns, motivations, and subtle cues that others overlook. You gain insight into the needs, desires, and intentions of people around you, and you position yourself to respond in ways that are effective, persuasive, and meaningful. When you react less, you maintain control over your energy, emotions, and influence. You conserve mental resources, avoid unnecessary drama, and create opportunities to act from a place of wisdom rather than impulsivity. Listening is also a form of respect. When you listen fully, you communicate to others that their thoughts, feelings, and perspectives matter. This builds rapport, strengthens relationships, and fosters cooperation. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel heard and understood, and listening more is the key to cultivating this magnetism. Reacting less does not mean inaction, it means response with intention. It means observing, assessing, and choosing the most effective course rather than being driven by immediate emotion or impulse. It is the difference between someone who loses control in conflict and someone who navigates challenges with composure and influence. Listening more strengthens empathy. When you truly hear what others are expressing beyond words to tone, body language, and emotion, you gain a deep understanding of their perspective. Empathy allows you to connect authentically, anticipate needs, and respond in ways that foster alignment and trust. Reacting less allows for emotional regulation. Most mistakes in communication, negotiation, and decision-making stem from emotional reactivity. By pausing before responding, you allow reason, insight, and strategy to guide your actions. You avoid unnecessary escalation, reduce conflict, and maintain credibility and authority. Listening more also enhances learning. Every person, situation, and challenge offers lessons if you are willing to listen. Those who react too quickly often miss critical information, insights, or opportunities for growth. By listening deeply, you absorb knowledge, expand understanding, and equip yourself with the wisdom necessary to make better decisions and create better outcomes. Reacting less strengthens influence. People are drawn to those who are calm, composed, and deliberate in their actions. By listening before speaking and responding with intention, you gain credibility, respect, and the ability to shape outcomes in your favor. Listening more fosters patience. When you focus on hearing and understanding rather than rushing to respond, you develop the capacity to wait, to reflect, and to act at the right moment. Patience, in turn, amplifies your effectiveness, impact, and results. Reacting less promotes clarity. In the heat of the moment, impulsive reactions cloud judgment and limit perspective. By slowing down, observing, and assessing, you gain clarity about the situation, your priorities, and the most strategic way to move forward. Listening more strengthens relationships. People want to feel understood, valued, and respected. By listening attentively, you create connections that are meaningful, lasting, and mutually beneficial. Reacting less ensures that those relationships are nurtured rather than damaged by impulsive words or actions. Listening more builds resilience. Life is full of challenges, criticism, and conflict. By listening before reacting, you gain perspective, understand the dynamics at play, and equip yourself to respond in a way that maintains your composure, protects your energy, and strengthens your position. Reacting less enhances decision-making. When you pause before responding, you assess the situation, consider potential outcomes, and choose the course that maximizes benefit while minimizing risk. Listening more develops discernment. You learn to distinguish between noise and valuable information, between what is urgent and what is important, and between situations that require action and those that require observation. Reacting less increases emotional intelligence. The ability to regulate emotions, manage impulses, and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively is central to leadership, influence, and success. Listening more cultivates humility. It reminds you that you do not have all the answers, that others have perspectives worth considering, and that collaboration and understanding often lead to better outcomes than impulsive action. Reacting less reinforces self-mastery. The discipline to pause, observe, and choose your response strengthens your control over mind, body, and emotions, creating power that others cannot take away. Listening more also improves communication. By understanding fully before responding, your words carry precision, impact, and resonance. Misunderstandings are reduced, influence is amplified, and relationships are strengthened. Reacting less encourages long-term thinking. Immediate reactions are often short-sighted and driven by emotion. By responding deliberately, you consider consequences, anticipate challenges, and make choices that serve long-term goals and vision. Listening more opens doors. Opportunities, solutions, and collaborations often reveal themselves in the act of listening. By paying attention, you notice possibilities that are invisible to those who are distracted or reactive. Reacting less ensures that you do not sabotage those opportunities with impulsive behavior, rash decisions, or emotional outbursts. Listening more increases confidence. When you are fully present, absorb information, and understand dynamics, you are equipped to act with certainty and authority. Reacting less reinforces that confidence by demonstrating self-control, composure, and strategic insight. Listening more strengthens influence and leadership. Leaders who listen deeply inspire trust, loyalty, and collaboration. Reacting less allows those leaders to navigate challenges, motivate teams, and make decisions that create positive impact without being driven by ego, fear, or impulse. Listening more is a path to wisdom. Every conversation, every interaction, and every moment contains lessons for those willing to hear. Reacting less ensures that those lessons are integrated, applied, and leveraged for growth rather than lost in impulsive responses. Listening more and reacting less is not easy. It requires practice, discipline, and conscious effort. It demands presence, focus, and the courage to resist the urge to dominate, control, or respond instantly. Yet, it is one of the most effective strategies for creating influence, mastery, and extraordinary results in life. Those who embrace this principle experience deeper connections, greater clarity, stronger decision-making, and a sense of power that is quiet but undeniable. Listening more allows you to understand life, people, and opportunities in ways that reactive individuals cannot. Reacting less allows you to act with precision, impact, and strategic advantage. Together, they create a state of mastery that transforms challenges into opportunities, chaos into clarity, and interactions into influence.